How's it going, guys? This is going to be another episode of American Irons Behind the Bench. We're going to build a complete liner. There's a few things that I've already done. I've already wound the coils and sealed them with epoxy. I've already blued the frame. I had to cut a couple screws, and one of the binding posts needs to be cut down. But that's all stuff that I do for my machine, that for me. But I'm going to show you how to assemble this machine, tune this machine, and hopefully you get something from it. Here's the frame. As I stated, I've already blued it. You know, this is the way I like my machines. Other people like all that other happy stuff I've been doing lately, but I really like them like this. I like them naked, bared down. So, first thing you do, being I blued it, I'm going to chase the threads. Metal expands and contracts, so you just want to make sure that everything's fine and dandy. You don't want to get something in there and get it all buggered up and can't get it out. Okay, chase these down a little bit. And the first thing I like to do is put my coils on. And the coils will assemble an armature bar with springs. We'll set the angles, and we'll set the tensions. We'll get it dressed up. We'll fire it up, and we'll get it going. Okay. Like I stated in any other videos, if there's something I miss, hit me up. We'll go through it and help you guys out. Because I didn't have that one in all the way. As I stated in other videos, my coils are 6 wrap, but don't let that fool you, because it's more like a 7.5 to an 8, because I use 23 gauge wire. My resistances are completely different than using 24 gauge wire. The thinner the wire, the higher the resistance. The thicker the wire, the lower the resistance. And I can use less of it and get the same effect. That's where all that power comes from that I get. Give it a little twist. There we go. Alright. Now we'll assemble the armature bar. If you're going to be doing a lot of machines, this is a good suggestion. Because he's holding onto those springs and trying to tighten up this armature bar. Yeah, I cut myself a few times years ago. Then I got smart. Alright, on my liners I like to use a 20 gauge spring. You'll notice that I don't bend my springs anymore. I keep them nice and straight. To me, I'm getting a better running machine. Other people might say no, but you'll see. Oh, you saw in the other video all my machines and how they ran. They run great. This is a machine that can be up for sale. Nice and tight, nice and straight. And somebody was saying that, see, now this is straight across. The problem is now when the back tension gets set, this is going to sag just a little bit. I say don't bend it, but there's a little twist. Okay. Just enough so that when I got spring tension on this, it'll just sit just flush. Now we'll take that and we'll put it on the back, tighten it up, and we'll check the gap in between the two coils. When you have your armature bar on, as I stated in the other video where I was showing you how to fix one of those Japanese machines, Chinese machines, overseas machines, you want this to just drop down off level. That's why I make it so easy for me to tune these. Right out of the box. That is just off level. It's, yep, just right there. Now with that right there, I'll give it a little check real quick. That's got to come out just a hair. Just a hair. There we go. We got a nice gap back here. Not too big, not too small. When it comes down, you'll see how straight across here. It's just up a little bit, and then when it comes down, it just drops down past level. Now we got to see where we're at tension-wise on that rear spring. That rear spring is, some people say their machine's running hot. Well, if the machine's running hot, what happens is you got too much tension here. The coils are working really hard, and they put a lot of heat into the resistor, and you'll get a lot of heat. Capacitor. You get a lot of heat coming through the bottom of the machine because the coils are getting hot because they're overworking. Some of these things, I've seen them, they're like 700 grams. My liners are 425 to 450. I won't get into what the other ones are because I'm going to be doing a video on a shader and on a color machine. So, we're going to check this real quick. We are at 4, one more time, 458, give or take. So we're really good there. And like I said in the other one, you see what I'm using. Use a scale. Put this on the end, machine upside down, push on the scale until the armature bar just comes in contact with the front coil. You look at your reading, 425 to 450. I like to get it up to around the 450 part. Just like that. Do it a couple times and you'll get the average of it. Better than one of those spring scales because they can go out just like you have to adjust your spring is the reason I don't bend the front, because over time it will get out. So we're just leaving that out of the equation. That whole setup cost me $5. A spring tension tool is going to cost you roughly $40 to $75 is what I've seen on that. Alright. So we know the tension here is 458. Good enough for me. Like I said, 425, 450. I like it at 450 for myself. It just drops off, so we know that's good. Now, we'll do the rear. Two of these, one is this. Rear binding post time. This is real easy. This is everyday stuff, should be almost for everybody. If you haven't taken a machine apart and put it together yet, get one of those $5 machines, rip it apart, put it back together, rip it apart, put it back together, and then try to make the damn thing run. That just goes in. Now what I'm about ready to do, you'll see a lot of people take our needle bar and they stick the needle bar up and through into the next part. Well, a lot of times that doesn't get you exactly how your clip cord is going to go on. So what I'll end up doing is take the clip cord, put the clip cord on, bring it around a little bit more. There. Good. Just unwind this and bring that around. And I'll put the clip cord on it. And now I know that the clip cord is right where it needs to be. When somebody buys this machine and puts their clip cord on it, it's going to be exactly where it needs to be. And you want that nice and tight. You don't want to get an email saying, hey, how come my rear binding post is loose? I don't know. But, okay. But so far, we got the machine, we checked everything. Now, we got the coils on, we got the spring set, we got the front spring done with just a little pinch in it. Everything's set here. That's all set. Now for the fun part. This is one of the parts that I cut. And we have all the little parts that go with it. We're going to need one more. There we go. There we go. And like I said, get yourself a cheap machine. Take it apart a few times. Learn all the bits and pieces. And you'll be able to rock these just like I do. Like I said, a lot of it's just getting those springs set right. You can set those springs right. I'm talking to you guys and I'm forgetting where to set things. You get those springs set right, you'll have a machine that runs. Well, I'll show you on that overseas machine, China. that once everything was set right, even that little machine will run at about 6.5 volts. That's not too shabby. Don't know how long it'll last, but all right. Bring this down to the right there on the spring. Look at it straight on. We're going to get this tightened up. After it's tightened up, we'll make a couple adjustments on that. I want to bring this forward as far as I can like that, because I get a better stroke straight down. And I like to have it just hang over the front of the spring. That's my preference. That's how I get my machines to run the way they do. Everybody's seen that. Alright, we just need to make a little adjustment on the rear. No really big things here. Just let's lock that down. I use the Allen wrench over the screwdriver because I can get a nice lock on it. Alright. I use a nylon locking nut over here on this side instead of copper or brass or steel. Sometimes I do a brass one just for looks. 9 times out of 10 you're going to see one of my machines is going to have this screw, and it's going to be nylon, because I don't want to booger up the threads on this if you ever want to make an adjustment up or down. Steel, brass, copper, see, when I tighten that down on there, now when I loosen it up, right, I can still adjust it, and I think because I have to, right there. I set it. What you hear a lot in the business, I set it at a dime roughly, and after I put a needle in it, I'm probably going to just go down on it a little bit. Okay, roughly a dime. I'll probably end up scooting down on that a little bit, but that's going to be the tuning part. And tuning's real easy. Like I said, the biggest part is I've already done it. I've gotten these rear springs set at a tension of 458. So I like 450. I wasn't going to play with it that much for that much. Front spring is in with the rear tension coming up. Once it touches, you see that flex? Just that little bit of extra is the throw that's going back down. Now if you get too much, you'll get a double throw, which means is as it's coming back up and hits, it gets thrown back down instead of the coils pulling it back down. Now with that, if you've ever been tattooing anybody and you're going and all of a sudden it picks, you get too much tension back here, it's coming up, it's bouncing off the contact screw and throwing itself back down instead of it just going nice and easy. It should come up, land, and get pulled back down. Up, land, pulled back down. If it's bouncing back down, it's a double hit, and that's where you're going to get that pick from. And there's the culprit back there. That's it. I just crank up on that spring. I can feel the difference. No, you cannot feel the difference. I've been doing this for many years, and I still can't feel the difference. That's what that's for. That will change your whole tuning abilities. You'll be able to set it exactly where it's supposed to be. 425 to 450. Keep it up a little bit higher. Much higher than that, you start getting 550, 600, 700. And like I said, you're going to get that double throw. It's not going like this anymore. It's hitting that and coming down and then going back up and getting pulled back down. And, not a good thing. So that's a little thing that I learned, that now you learned. There it is. So, yeah, there was a couple steps that you guys didn't get to see making the coils. Biggest reason is the epoxy takes 24 hours to cure. These are now sealed, so nothing gets into them. All the others, when you put the shrink wrap around it, that stuff can get under it and just all nasty. So I do this on mine. Even when I do a coil cover with the artwork that you've seen, I seal it with epoxy so it can be wiped down and nothing gets under it. It's just what I do. All right. First, I'm going to run it empty, unloaded. We'll start in the basement. I don't know, because those numbers be seen on the screen. Let me get that little turn for you. Right, can you see that now? 4.4. Let's give her a shot, see what we got. Yes, I like my area clean. I like everything put away. Everything's got a spot. Every spot's got a thing. Now this is, hey, sometimes I've done this and it didn't run. And you find out, things happen. How's that? How's that sound to you? Now, when I go to adjust this, right here I can see that the space is open just a little too much. You want to see a double figure 8. And right now they're separated. You can hear it too, just a little bit. So I'm going to back that out and bring this down. Right about there. What you're going to see is it's a figure 8 right there. And you see that on the screen? Right in there, there's a little figure 8. You see the two, they blend together. You look at the side, you can see the ghost of it running. That's a good running machine. But there's a lot of good running machines out there that once you put a needle in it, it don't run. So, being it's a liner, I like to set my liners as you saw in the other video. I use a 9-round shader to give it a nice drag and see what it's going to do. We'll get that in there. I'm going to set it off to the side. See, I set mine up like this. This is the way I tattoo. There we go. Remember, I'd opened that up. Hey, when I tattoo, there are a lot of people, they hold their machine out here like this, and you get a lot of fatigue because your fingers are actually holding the weight of this thing. See it? See how? Now watch. Look. How? And you just drop it down here, and you can adjust your depth. If you're one of those people who like to hang the needle out, your finger is actually going to adjust. Oh, sorry about that. Your finger's going to adjust the depth. I hope a lot of it wasn't up like that, but it's going to adjust the depth. And when you're running and you're holding it like that, you can move your whole hand and your arm together. Right? So it's a, and you're not possibly getting a little wiggle out here. Put it down in here. Put it down in here. Hey, you guys that got a wrist problem or your fingers hurt, I'm barely even holding on this machine. It's just laying there. All right. A couple rubber bands. Yeah, rubber band, man. Show them age again. All right, we'll take a couple rubber bands. I like to give them a nice stretch. Put your rubber bands on. All right. Let's see how she runs now. Give it just a little bit more. Hear a change? I turn that maybe a millimeter. And we'll bring it up just a little bit. There you go. Oh, not the voltage. I'm open just a little bit there. I can see it. After it ran for a few seconds, everything settled down. There it is. 4.5 excuse me. There we go. 4.5 volts. You tattoo all day long with that. Nice line right in the wood. That'll do some skin.